time for the big one, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult one. What do you think?
How to choose a four-wheel drive, how to choose a vehicle. Now, we're talking overlanding. How does somebody choose the right vehicle?
Gosh, you know, it's a question that people have asked me so often. You know, and you're building vehicles for people and they come to you and they go, which vehicle? I mean, there's so much choice. In my mind, I think I look at a few things. And I'm really looking at where you're going. Who's going with you? How many people are in your vehicle?
Those are the obvious ones. I mean, because obviously I've got 4 people, I need 4 seats.
Sure, absolutely.
But
where are you going is a big, important question.
Okay.
So, you know, are you going to be near access to help, spares, service parts? That's important. How reliable does your vehicle need to be? How much is it up to you to keep the vehicle going? Or can you get the help? Or do you have the knowledge that you really need to keep the vehicle going?
So you're saying that if I was not terribly tech savvy or mechanically savvy, I should buy a new vehicle?
Well, not new, because a lot of the new vehicles today have actually quite a lot of gadgets and electronics in them. And actually that's just what we don't want when we're going out to the bush.
Yes.
So, you know, you're really trying to keep a vehicle that's reliable. Safety is always an important part of this. So, you know, the older vehicles, they're not quite as reliable, but they're a lot simpler. So it's really a big debate. If you're going to get an old vehicle that's in really good condition and that's your budget, and you can make sure that it's mechanically reliable and it's been properly prepared, and that's probably the key thing, because I can think of any vehicle that would probably make most trips. If it's properly maintained and properly prepared, the chance of having problems is reduced hugely. And I bet if you analysed most situations where things go wrong on vehicles, it's because it wasn't prepared properly.
Yes, absolutely. Accessories. So what would your advice be to somebody who's humming and hawing, he wants a vehicle, and I've heard it so often, not serious off-road, and I think perhaps now it's important to distinguish between off-road and overland. They're not the same thing.
Totally.
Overland is long distance, you need reliability, range, you're carrying a load. And
it's your home. I mean, when you're going overland, that's your home. You're living out of this vehicle.
Yeah, off-road, it's literally that. Trails, maybe a weekend trail, and it's getting through really rough stuff, and it's, okay, 2 different, we're talking overland. How does somebody, I just heard an interesting bird, how does somebody actually approach?
Well, you know, I looked at, of course I was living in England at that time, and you know, the vehicles available to us there that were affordable, we had a couple of choices. I could get someone a brand new vehicle, and there are only 2 companies that would give me a brand new vehicle that would be a perfect overlanding vehicle: Toyota and Nissan.
Perfect, i.e. no electronics.
No electronics, wind-up windows, no alarms, and even no turbo. So it was a really bog-standard, reliable vehicle. We used to call them rest of the world spec vehicles. Great, brand new. So the chances of mechanical failure are very minimal. A lot of mechanical failure is actually abuse either by bad driving or equipment and stuff that's been fitted to the vehicle badly.
Yeah.
You know, we all talk about it. How much do you put in the vehicle? How heavy is this poor vehicle? How complicated have you made all the systems in the vehicle? And if you can keep it simple and you can keep it light and you can make sure it's well prepared, you know, the reliability picks up hugely.
But there's one problem with that. These vehicles, generally speaking, are underpowered.
Absolutely.
And some of them are really not terribly comfortable at all and wouldn't really be a first choice for driving as an everyday vehicle.
Well, an everyday, you're right. You know, an everyday vehicle,
that.
that's where the compromise comes in. So, you know, you're looking, someone comes and says, I need an everyday vehicle I want to use, and I need to be able to take 4 people away, and I'm going to do my weekends away, I'm going to do longer trips. That's more my weekender, my sort of explorer type person that I think of. You know, you want to go for a weekend, you want to go for 2 weeks. You can actually put equipment in the back of the vehicle. Let's choose a double cab. I think it's a great vehicle. A lot of people have them. 4 people, reasonably comfortable in the car, safe vehicle. They're very reliable vehicles. They've got electronics on them, but generally speaking, they're very reliable. If you go to East Africa, the hunters will drive the Land Cruisers, but the game people, they will take Land Rovers because it's a more comfortable ride, and they can suffer the sort of sort out and look after the vehicles because they have a workshop and maintain them. So the long and the short on the sort of story of going an overland vehicle, I need to make sure that my vehicle is somewhere I can get parts for it. It's big enough, and how big is a vehicle that you need? Generally people take way too much stuff. The vehicle's way too heavy, they bolted on every last accessory they don't need. And I'm forever telling people what they don't need on vehicles. So, you know, really, if you can keep it simple, you can keep it light, and you can make it reliable, and your choice of base vehicle, and the whole debate about, do I have a live axle, which is the solid axle in the front, or do I have independent front suspension? For 90% of the people, 95%, both will do the job superbly. So the debate is, how good a condition is the vehicle that you're taking on your trip? How up to date is the service? And how much do people actually take into account when they take their vehicle to a dealership to be serviced, considering the fact that the guy working on their car has probably never driven a vehicle to Botswana, and you're asking him to sort your car out to go to Botswana? It's a big call. It's very unfair on that person, because really he hasn't got that experience. So going to someone who actually knows what a vehicle has to endure, probably has the experience of having driven many, many thousands of miles, we'll be able to look at your vehicle and say, well, Andrew, for this vehicle to do that trip, we're going to need to change these parts to ensure certain reliability. Take these parts as spares, take these old parts as spares, and do away with this and bolt this equipment on that you're going to need. And I think that's really important. If someone's actually looking at choosing a vehicle like that, find someone who's got the experience. Ask the questions about the guy you're about to spend a lot of money with. Have you ever been on a trip? Have you driven a vehicle thousands of miles?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think that answers a lot of questions for a lot of people.
And that, I also believe, is the reason why those manufacturers of off-road equipment that have actually done it, generally speaking, are making better equipment.
Absolutely.
Because they also have their own testing environment, and they tend to listen and understand and sympathize when something breaks, and they have a vested personal interest in what they've...
Yeah,
they're not just selling it.
Absolutely, but a lot of those businesses started out with passion.
Yeah.
And, you know, and when someone's passionate about what they love in any aspect of any business, but certainly when you're looking at our industry, it comes across, it comes alive. Yeah, I'm passionate about what I do, absolutely. This bit of kit that I've designed it for these reasons. And I think you know only too well, having done a lot of that sort of R&D yourself, and so have I, that this comes alive because we really believe that this will solve your problem. And because I've used it and tried it and tested it, and a number of customers. So yes, you're absolutely right. And I think, you know, people use equipment in different ways. There's no hard and fast rule about what you should take, shouldn't take. I draw the line when it comes to safety items. You know, what should you and shouldn't you take from safety? I can get away without washing, or I can use a bucket to wash myself. I don't have to have a fancy shower. But when it comes to safety items, that's when people need to really take heed in. And part of that safety is the preparation of your vehicle and the choice of vehicle and what equipment you're putting in and where you're putting it and how you're securing it. And that all comes in a whole understanding of what you're embarking on. And, you know, I think reading up good advice in good books, you've written many of those books, other people have equally contributed to our industry in great ways. And I think that's what's key. Find those people, talk to them. We can learn a lot. I certainly keep learning.
Absolutely. Never ends.
Yeah, half the fun.